Let me tell you about our newest partner, Mint Mobile. With Mint Mobile, you can drop your expensive cell phone plan without having to sacrifice coverage, speed, or data. They're able to provide such an amazing offer by cutting out the middleman and selling to you directly online. Plans start for as little as $15 a month. $15 a month, guys. That is so unbelievably cheap. And making the switch is incredibly easy. Keep your current phone and phone number and activate your plan in minutes. Remember to support those who help us. Just go to trymintmobile.com/thoseguys to get started. That's trymintmobile.com/thoseguys.
Those guys.
All right, Tyler, I'm just going to throw this at you as we go for a little break. I know more about physics than Isaac Newton ever did.
You hate.
I'm going to say no, you don't.
Of course I do.
No, you don't.
He didn't even know what a friggin' atom was, okay? I do. I went to school with an atom.
What's an atom?
An atom is just I don't have to prove myself to you.
That's a
Smarter than Sir Isaac Newton.
Weird example to go to.
That's not how conversations work. It's not a test. This isn't tests, my Haitian. This is a conversation. You're being a dick.
Those guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys you hate. Guys you hate.
And we're back. Ryan, welcome back.
Hello, my friend.
Hello to you, sir.
I said good day.
How are you doing so far, man? You hanging in there?
I'm doing well. You're doing a great job, Tyler. Your energy is carrying both of us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's jump into our second conversation of the show. Revenge, Ryan. You and I are not vengeful people.
No.
We're not. We just don't have the energy for it.
I have trouble maintaining a grudge. I've tried, believe me,
Yeah.
but it's just not in there. It dissipates fast.
Well, and I have so much anger at myself, I only have so much to go around for other people, you know?
Does that count as revenge?
Against myself. But if you were willing to take revenge on someone, what do you think it would look like?
If I was
Get creative with it.
Let me think about that for a moment. If I was willing to take revenge on somebody, I'm guessing, just right off the top of my head, if I were to take revenge on somebody, it would probably be in a minor social situation. Like what really gets me angry is when somebody does something to put themselves above everybody else who's waiting or cutting in line or whatever the deal is. If it's somebody close to me, I generally think about it for a while. I wouldn't be quick to revenge. If I'm in a social situation where I feel like I'm standing up for everyone who's there who's being inconvenienced, is where I would be most likely to do it.
Yeah, no. You're not allowed to be the hero of the story. You are taking revenge out of petty annoyance.
Shit in someone's gas tank.
What would that do exactly? I guess it would ruin the car, obviously.
It definitely wouldn't make it better.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
That's true. Unless you came up with a brand new discovery that benefits all of mankind.
Yeah, and then the big car companies would have me killed immediately.
Hey, listen, they can't shut down all the anuses in the world, Ryan.
They could try. And there was that gentleman who supposedly invented cars that run on water or vegetable oil or something like that.
There's been a lot of different designs where the oil companies come out, buy all the trademarks up, and they can't be made.
Oh, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Well, I knew no matter your answer, it wouldn't be this. And to discuss this,
I don't like your tone in which you say this.
we're going to Spain.
Let's go to, are we going to Barcelona?
We're going to, no, I don't think so. You just wanted to say Barcelona with
Hold on, I'm not done yet. What about Ibiza?
God, just get me on this airplane, please.
This is terrible for the environment.
Yeah, it is. It is. But these are important stories that we must bring to society.
Okay.
And I did enter last break saying this would be a better story. I lied. That will be our third story. This one's pretty bad.
Okay. I appreciate you being honest about lying.
Agreed. A security guard at the Spanish Olympic Committee. Oh, in Madrid. There you go. I did write it down. We're in Madrid. Allegedly carried out a shocking revenge campaign against two female colleagues. The victims, go ahead.
A man against two females.
Correct.
Okay.
The victims were aged 22 and 29.
Okay.
And they grew suspicious of this man's behavior when they noticed that their metal bottles which they carried water around in, were frequently moved and sometimes had a strange taste or smell.
All right.
The absolutely horrifying truth emerged when employees investigating unrelated thefts discovered the guards' actions on the CCTV cameras.
Okay, so this guy, he was getting back at these women for something that he believed they had done to him.
He believes that I'll even give you that right now. He believes that these two women bullied his wife, who also worked alongside them.
Okay.
So they apparently, to him, these two young whippersnappers were coming in. They were bullying his wife.
Bullying, not the right thing to do.
It's terrible.
Yep.
The footage showed that the 67-year-old night shift guard was masturbating next to the security room and ejaculating directly into his coworkers' metal bottles.
And that's a crime.
That's a crime.
That's a crime.
Yes.
Okay.
Even in Spain, where you can get into some weird shit, believe me, I know, ejaculating into somebody's cup non-consensually is a crime.
So you're saying he was masturbating?
God damn it.
God damn it. I'm back. I'm not depressed anymore.
Good.
See, that's a bit suspicious because here's the thing. There's so many acts of revenge that you could do to someone that doesn't take the time or the wherewithal that masturbating into more than one water bottle, that takes effort. That takes.
You yourself said that if you were to get to revenge, you would bide your time. You would wait a little bit and really think about it. This man wanted to commit as much time as you, just in a different way.
Sure. No, I actually said quite the opposite. Thank you for listening. I said I would just react immediately. I don't like stew on revenge.
Oh, well, I'm a bad listener in this moment.
It's okay. I would say that also hints to me that this man has a deviant side, which is obvious.
Yes.
But the masturbation, you brought that into it. Like, it's like you could have done a million things. The masturbation, that's like your thing, bro.
Yep. Yeah, you could have spit in the cups way faster.
Also gross, but just a lot easier.
Yeah, and just more, and I don't mean that I agree with it. I'm just saying more understandable. You know, you get mad at somebody, puh, and you walk away. Jerking off, as you said, it's a commitment to the bit.
It's a commitment, and I believe that there's another element to this other than just revenge. But nonetheless, okay. So what ultimately ended up happening?
See, you got the detective's mind. I like where your head's at. Let's talk about this. Further investigation revealed, believe it or not, this was not an isolated incident.
Really?
But a repeated campaign targeting the two women occurring at least 6 times.
This guy just likes jerking off at work. This guy just likes jerking off at work. That's the deal. Like you're doing something wrong to get back at somebody who's done something wrong. Yeah. You just like jerking off at work.
You're doing something fun to get back at somebody who wronged you.
That's exactly right. You're being rude to my wife. I'm going to start an orgy.
I'm going to be rude to your mouth.
That's it.
Now, the suspect, a Romanian national, had worked at the Spanish Olympic Committee for over 16 years and was close to retirement.
Oh, no.
He claimed the lewd acts were revenge against the two women, as I said, for allegedly bullying his wife. A source within the Spanish committee, this is where it takes a turn. Again, the source within the Spanish Olympic Committee dismissed this justification, noting that one of the women had only been working there for 2 months and had never even saw the guard due to different shifts.
She was thinking about it, though. It was in there. He could tell. You know, you've never done a preemptive masturbating. I have.
What's a preemptive? Where you get like a chub going to make sure it looks impressive in front of?
You know somebody is gonna do something wrong. You minority report them. Okay, you could see the crime before they commit it. Sometimes you got to jerk off into their water, Tyler. I know it sounds crazy, but justice often isn't pretty. That's why the lady justice wears that bandage across her eyes.
So she doesn't have to see what she's drinking.
She doesn't have to see me. So she doesn't have to figure out why she's chewing her water.
Yeah. And this exactly right here is why I'm glad there's no such thing as vigilante justice. Or
satire.
Or at least that it's illegal for vigilante justice.
Is Batman not wearing his tights today? What's going on? It is I, Fat Man.
I am the knight. I am the jizz. Ryan,
wowzers!
Thank you for coming on that ride with me.
I will come anywhere you want me to.
Appreciate you.
Sure.
Now you have a fun little story for us.
I have a little story. It's a bit of a whodunit. It's a little bit of a true crime. vibe to it, and I want you to play detective. It's going to change a little bit in the middle. Let's get into it. I kind of hope you're not, but are you familiar with the name Elizabeth Fritzl? Fritzl? Fritzl.
I do not know who that is.
Elizabeth Fritzl. This is her story. On August 28th, 1984, you were -4 years old. 18-year-old Elizabeth Fritzl. What?
You don't have to put so much emphasis on the last name.
I want to put effort in.
Yeah, I
mean?
know.
And this is a serious story, so stop bullshitting.
Okay, my fault. Game face.
She went missing. 18-year-old, living at home with her parents, disappeared. Okay? Now, a letter arrived from Elizabeth Fritzl claiming that she had grown tired of life with her family and had run away, and that she had joined a religious cult, something that she had previously talked about doing. Okay? Cults, how do you feel about them?
I'm not really for them because I'm not a big fan of any entity that keeps you from thinking for yourself.
Are there good cults? Are there good cults? Is the church a cult?
I imagine, yes, definitely. I imagine that most cults or a lot of cults start out good, but just the people at the top with all the power, it just corrupts them to the end.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my guess.
That makes sense. That's interesting. So she disappeared, but over the span of time that she was gone, she communicated with her family on a very short number of times when 3 of her children, quote unquote, appeared near the house with notes from Elizabeth saying, "I can't care for these children." So her parents, who were still together, took in her children without ever seeing her. What are your thoughts on that?
So she had 3 children and then brought them to her parents, their grandparents' house.
Left them in like bushes.
Left a note with them saying, "I can't care for them," and then just disappeared.
That is exactly right.
That is terrifying. Yeah, that's awful.
They never saw her.
Yeah.
They just found her notes and found her children.
You have to assume, well, obviously you talk to the children and ask them what they saw, but I would immediately assume that something has happened to my child.
They were babies. The children were babies, so there was nothing that they could even bring back.
Hey, baby, what happened? Yeah, I would be worried that something happened to my kid.
Absolutely. Well, of course. This is such strange behavior. So she said, "I couldn't take care of the baby. I'm leaving it with my parents for safekeeping." The child would be swaddled and accompanied by a note. 2 decades later, her 19-year-old daughter, Kirsten, showed up. She was critically ill and found by the father, Joseph. And she also had a note from her mother, Elizabeth, explaining her condition, explaining why she was sick and that she needed to go to a hospital immediately.
So she just, again, took her child, brought her to the hospital, and then left her with a note.
No, brought her to the house, and the father, Joseph, found her.
What is this lady's problem?
For the first time in 24 years, Elizabeth showed up at the hospital to see her daughter, where the hospital staff alerted police to her suspicious arrival. So finally, 24 years later, she disappeared when she was 18 years old. She shows up at the hospital at 42 years old to check in on her daughter.
Well, at least she showed up for her daughter, but never checked back in on her other kids that she left with her parents.
That is exactly right.
Oh, God.
And that is when she was taken by police and she was questioned, and they had so many things that needed to be answered, as I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah. Tell us what's been happening the last 24 years.
What do you think? Any thoughts on it? Because I know I've led you down a winding road here.
That's the thing.
And also, let's see if this music helps you.
Well, now I think it's aliens. I immediately want to guess bad parent, but it's such unusual behavior. I don't know. Okay, now this music is definitely making me think aliens.
After being taken to a room and promised that she could not be affected by her father, Elizabeth admitted to being locked in a cellar from when she was 18 until that day where she was released at the age of 42 by her own father. Her father had constructed a basement in their house, and there was a secret room that he had kept his daughter in the soundproof room for How many years is that? 18 to 42. 24 years.
That's 24 years. Okay, so technically I got it right. It is bad parenting. It was just the wrong person.
Different parent. Fritzl.
That's fucked up.
Started building the cellar stretching below the house and garden years before he took Elizabeth into captivity. He asked his 18-year-old daughter to help hang the final door and then held an ether-soaked cloth to her mouth and locked her in the cellar.
Well, that's an awkward breakfast the next morning.
Sure.
Yeah, that's weird. And you know what's terrifying is that this is not an isolated story. There are stories like this around the world throughout time where people lock up their own children in like a basement or an attic somewhere. Oh, that poor. So what happened is the father finally let his daughter out of the basement to go visit her sick daughter.
Yes, because her sick daughter had been locked down there for her whole 19-year life with her, trapped underground and enslaved. Elizabeth was raped thousands of times by her own father and gave birth to 7 of her children, of his children.
That's about as bad as it gets.
It's dark. He had sexually abused her from when she was 11 years old. He beat Elizabeth and forced her to recreate acts from pornographic videos, sometimes in front of her children. I'm sorry that this is so dark.
So this guy's just a straight up monster. He's like
a straight up monster.
Evil incarnate on the face of the earth.
He punished Elizabeth and her children by switching off the power for days at a time, and he also told them that they would be electrocuted if they tried to get through the cellar door. That is, and we can continue to discuss it. The music ran out, so it felt like the right time to punctuate it.
God, I wish it was aliens.
That is the story of Elizabeth Fritzl and her frightening, sometimes we need to be grateful for the imperfect families that we're born into because it could be much, much worse.
Yeah, I'm just glad that I was born so big I wouldn't fit in the cellar.
No.
What was the mom doing? Do you know?
The mom was unaware of all of it. There were also people, he had soundproofed the hidden cellar. She supposedly didn't know. He backed up her story that she didn't know. There was a family that lived the floor above them, and he said, hey, we have a loud heater. There's something wrong with the pipe, so if you hear noises, it's just, I'll take care of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there is a room in your house that you are not allowed to go in, especially for years on end, call the police.
She didn't know the room existed, supposedly. So that is the story of the girl in the basement. We've talked about the girl under the bed. That is the story of the girl in the basement. This just ended, I believe, in like 2011 or 2012. This is a recent story. Elizabeth Fritzl, congratulations on surviving.
Yeah, so those kids are fucked up beyond belief.
Deeply fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he had 7 kids, which means the oldest one at the very least was in her teens, his or her teens.
I think it was that 19-year-old.
Oh, good God. Which means
she's about 30 now.
You've lived 19 years on this earth with absolutely no idea of how the world works in any way during your most formative years.
Oh, yeah. The idea of them ever being a normal person, that ship has sailed. And I don't mean that in any sort of attack on them.
No, of course.
Stands to reason in my mind.
Do you know what happened to him? He obviously was arrested and charged
quite quickly.
Okay.
He actually let her go. He decided to let Elizabeth.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So,
thanks, buddy.
We should maybe hear him out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
so
it.
he's in prison.
He's in prison.
Man, I hope they. Well, no, I shouldn't wish bad things on people, no matter how evil they are.
Let's just say an evil man.
Yeah. That's. Wow.
Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. I mean, and it's actually great that you chose a story that actually lines up with the roller coaster of emotion that is the human race.
Being a human on the planet Earth.
We are a very our species lives on such opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to each individual of how good and how terrible we can be.
You're exactly right.
Well, knowing that depressing shit, let's go to break so I can clear my head and we can come back and do something a little bit more fun.
Let's do it. I know everyone says this, but I am genuinely excited to tell you about our newest sponsor, Keen. What is Keen, you ask? I cannot wait to tell you. Keen is the leading provider of online psychic readings. With more than 35 million successful sessions under their belt, Keen is one of the most trusted providers in the space. I'm talking about tarot readings. I'm talking about love life readings. I'm talking about astrology readings. And yes, I'm talking about chakra cleansings and many more areas of expertise. Go to trykeen.com/thoseguys and get your first 5 minutes of any reading for only $1. What? The world is made up of things we don't understand, of things we can't see or touch, so expand your horizons while supporting those guys you hate.
Those guys.
Okay, I think that somebody is breaking into my house and putting pubic hair into my bar of soap. True crime? Is that true crime?
Why would anyone do that?
I don't get it.
You hate.
I'm looking at these hairs and I'm like, I don't know these hairs. True crime. That's definitely true crime.
That is not true crime.
Whatever, you don't know what true crime is.
Those guys.
And finally, Ryan, I'm glad that I actually have for my final story something a little bit more positive.
A little upbeat.
To end our day on to, wash out that foul stuff that we had earlier in the show.
Little palate cleanser.
That's right. Let's head back to the good old US of A to discuss one of our favorite pastimes.
Let's go.
Violent crime. Damn, do we love our violence here in the USA.
Why is that?
I don't know. Well, it's something that has been, for whatever reason, throughout the past 2 centuries, sex, big red X over anything sexual, but for some reason, violence, 2 big thumbs up. I don't know why.
Is that from like the Wild West? Like how did we end up with this moniker? How did we end up as the violent, gun-loving, obese country?
Well, it's the what's the word? Where everything is super clean and very conservative back in the day.
Puritanical?
Very, very puritanical, but they got their hands on everything and grew as much as they did because of violence. So they had to adopt violence as an okay thing into their society, just on others, not on us. On others,
we don't
fine.
like that.
But sex was no. Like they had their women dressed up in like the 180 buckle corset.
I love a good buckle, bro.
Nothing 180 of them?
Dude, nothing makes me want to fuckle more than a good old buckle.
Show name?
I hope not. I truly hope not.
Well, believe it or not, violent crime in the United States has dropped by more than 15% during the first 3 months of 2024, according to the statistics released by the FBI.
That's very interesting. Do we know why?
No, not really. It's not only that, it has been dropping precipitously over the last few decades.
Who are we?
Since we don't have an identity
that's
anymore.
Terrible.
Since the 90s, violent crime has been dropping year over year over year. And over the decades, it has dropped to such a degree. From January to March of this year, violent crime decreased 15% compared to the same period in 2023, with murders falling an impressive 26.4%. Rapes decreased by 25%.
That's crazy.
Like this violent crime has been decreasing significantly over not just the past few months, but over the years.
I think that's very interesting. I wonder if technology plays a part in that, where crimes are now taking place digitally and people aren't outside as much. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just rolling stuff around.
Specifically violent crime. So I wonder what digital crime is looking like fraud and identity theft and all those kind of things. But with more than 6 months remaining in 2024, criminal justice analyst Jeff Asher from the Datalytics suggests it's plausible that this year could see the largest 1-year decline of violent crime in all of American history.
It's very interesting. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, good for you, America.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just too obese to beat people up. Is that possible?
I want to shoot them, but this damn trigger's just so heavy.
Oh, my goodness. Spot me. Somebody spot me.
So, yeah, just a little, as you said, a little cleanser for the end of our show.
I'm proud of us.
Yeah, we're doing a great job. And with that, let's go into our final segment of the day and correct ourselves on a little weekend review. What Weekend Review is Ryan and I can be such gas bags and we will say things and we get things wrong, just like any human being, but we also like to go back.
Probably more than that.
Probably more so. We got these damn microphones
At a
in our
higher
face.
clip, probably.
We go back from our previous shows and we correct things or bring things up that are hilarious, like I will be doing today.
I only have 2, so you go first.
Okay. Well, I actually have 2 as well, but
Oh,
I
okay.
will go first nevertheless.
Mine are bad. I got to be honest. I forgot about this and I remembered right as we were starting. So mine's a little bit half-assed.
Okay.
Semicolon, if you will.
Well, Ryan, last week we asked the question, what is the average amount of calories burned by the human brain every day?
Can I guess? I feel like I read this somewhere.
First, did I look it up?
Oh yeah!
Go ahead.
500 calories. Or you know what? Maybe you just said that to me. Maybe that's where I got it from.
I was the one who said 500 calories.
Okay.
I was a bit off. On average, the brain uses about 20% of the body's total energy expenditure. Think of that. It is about a very small percentage of the body's weight, but it requires a fifth of all the energy that we ingest. This translates to approximately 300 to 420 calories every day.
That's pretty nuts, man.
For an adult, and obviously different factors like body type, body weight, things like that come into play.
How insane you are.
Have you eaten any mushrooms that day? You know, little magic
and
mushrooms.
yes.
Will burn that energy.
Tyler, I don't remember when and I don't remember how, but I asked the question, did God create sex?
Oh yeah!
Tyler,
Of course he did.
Genesis 1 verse 28, God creating humans as male and female and instructing them to be fruitful and multiply. And then in context, it's like not fruitful like that.
Sure.
God created sex
Yes, sir. I will do my duty.
to please that booty.
Well, Ryan, last week you played that clip of the guy on Wheel of Fortune who went viral for thinking and saying out loud the answer to the puzzle was right in the butt.
Right in the butt.
Did I also look up other truly cringe-worthy answers?
Oh yeah!
Okay, our first clip is of an almost completely solved puzzle. The category is character, and on the board, with only a few letters missing, we, the audience, can clearly see that the answer is mythological hero Achilles.
Oh, yeah. I remember this
The
one.
contestant you're about to hear seems to know it too, since he's guessing all the letters before answering for the biggest payday. Let's listen and see how that worked out for him.
700.
C.
Yeah, there are 2 C's. Well. Wow. Okay.
Can I solve?
Oh, well, that'd be a good idea, yeah.
Mythological hero Achilles.
We can't accept that.
Okay.
We can't accept that.
That one is particularly painful because unlike right in the butt guy, he's not being like crazy or whatever. He just made a mistake and he's known now for the rest of his life as that fucking idiot Achilles.
Yeah, unfortunately. And he just pronounced the word wrong, you know?
I don't understand why they can't accept that.
You have to say the words exactly. It's like Jeopardy. If you get the word wrong, even though you write it, if you misspell it when you write it down, they will not accept it, even
did
though
not know that.
you know they know what you're saying.
That poor, I feel bad for that guy.
I do as well.
What about right in the butt guy? Do you feel bad for him?
No, because that one's funny. It's not like embarrassing, like, oh, what an idiot.
It's
it was
definitely
just
embarrassing.
but not because I think of him as an idiot. It's just like, oh man, that guy said something crazy. This one, it was like, oh, you come off looking like a fool,
Yeah.
which sucks.
Yeah.
And our second and last clip of the day takes place at the end of the show when they put the winner in front of the board alone. They give them the category and they're allowed to give multiple letters and a vowel, and then they have to guess the answer. Do you know the name of that? The final segment of the show?
Yeah,
it's just the winner by themselves.
It's where the winner goes. I don't know the actual name of it.
No problem. The category in this clip,
It's hard. That one's always very hard.
it is.
Yeah, because it's always a crazy phrase, something that people don't say all the time.
Well, the category in this clip is thing, and the answer is magic wand.
Okay, that's a pretty good one.
The I in magic and the W in wand are the only 2 letters missing. So it's MAG blank C blank AND.
So he has the whole puzzle.
He has the whole puzzle minus just the 2 letters. Let's listen.
Magic hand, magic band, magic yan, sand, band, canned, jand, panned, Wand. Oh!
Magic wand.
Oh my goodness. That was the problem. He didn't get the A sound right, so he was stuck in
Correct.
sand, land, hand.
That one, I also do not think of him as a fool.
No,
that one was
no.
just, he was trying all the letters of the alphabet.
It's just pressure. That's just pressure. It's so easy from your living room to get that right when you're standing there.
Without a doubt,
Yeah.
it still hurts me to watch.
That sucks bleep.
Yeah. So that I am all done with the weekend review. Ryan, what you got?
Tyler, I don't remember the context of this, but we discussed, is there Squidward porn? And
Of course there is.
did I have trouble finding it?
Nope.
All right, Tyler, I am going to go ahead
Rule 34, baby.
and direct you to
Oh God.
Now, I don't know if HR is going to be a problem here in the office or whatever, but go ahead and describe this without being too sorry about that. Without being too unnecessary.
This is to my main email account. This is now in there.
Squidward
Come
is
on.
the curmudgeon neighbor of SpongeBob SquarePants on the hit Nickelodeon show SpongeBob SquarePants, made for children, made to delight. What are you looking at, Tyler?
Well, first is very clearly the femboy Squidward. He's hairless. He's blushing. He's got his tentacle up to his mouth and a full on erection.
Yeah.
It's a sweet dick in this
it's
one.
not a bad dick.
The next one I'm looking at is Squidward fucking Squidward,
That's a weird one.
which is a weird one.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
And the third one is Patrick Star fucking Squidward.
There you go. So
Yeah.
I feel like we got down to the bottom of it.
I'm gonna
or the
go,
top of it.
I'm going to go
depending
ahead
upon-
and delete that one if you don't mind.
The one with Squidward? Or?
Just all of it.
Okay.
Just all of it.
You don't want to hold on to the one with the sweet? Never mind.
I'm okay.
All right. Well, there you go. And that is whatever that was.
Ryan, thank you so much. Now I have that in my
Spank Bank?
which is also my brain. So
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Yes, Rule 34. If it exists, there is porn on the internet about it.
There's got to be an exception to that rule. There has to be.
I'm sure you're going to do your due diligence and go looking.
We can review.
What is first of all, tell them how they can get in touch with us. That should be more important.
ThoseGuysYouHate.com for all of your Those Guys You Hate needs. If you want to get on there and look at Squidward porn with us, we would be happy to do that.
Don't do it.
We should. And Those Guys _You Hate on YouTube and Instagram. Those Guys You Hate at TikTok. Great job, Tyler. That's
Thank
how you reach out and touch us with your tentacles. And,
Correct.
That's the deal.
Yeah, please. We're seeing huge number jumps on our social media, so please get on there. Please support us.
Thank you for your help, guys. We love you.
We need every follower we can get because we are just greedy like that.
For sure.
Ryan.
And we struggle with self-esteem.
Yeah, that too. We need your love because we can't sustain it ourselves.
Doesn't exist.
Ryan,
Yo.
what is the moral of the story?
The idea of recognizing that you're having a problem with your self-esteem, the idea that confidence isn't a through line, it's something that fluctuates just like your good feelings and your bad feelings. Being able to recognize that and treat that person with love, treat your lack of confidence with love is something that I think is a way to slowly start tunneling out of it.
Be your own parent.
Yeah, be your own parent.
Your own loving, respectful parent.
And I'm sure that a lot of people hear that and think that that is just kook talk, but I really believe that's the way to reprogram your mind.
Yeah. No, it's a fact. Of course. I mean, it's how it works.
Tyler, what's the moral of the story?
I will also go sincere this week. The moral of the story this week is please, I don't want to say don't believe what you see on the internet or on the news, but realize that it is not the full spectrum of what's happening out there. You're going to see you do see such negativity on the news. They're just force feeding you violent crime and all this evilness that's out there. But just remember, especially here in the US, violence is on the way down. We live in the most peaceful time in human history right now. And so just don't be aware of what's going on out there, but don't let it affect your day to day, and know that there are so many loving and good people out there that want to support you, like us.
Amen.
We are those guys you hate.
Be kind or we'll kill you.
And red circle.
Red circle, Tyler. How is you?
Good. How are you doing?
None of your business. I'm feeling shitty, Tyler.
Yeah, you don't say.
Yeah, I'm having...
Catching attitude right out of the gate.
I'm not giving you attitude. You're giving me attitude.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Oh,
Just been a rough week for me.
well, you probably deserve it.
I think it's emotional cancer. Life is good. Raising a teenager, that'd be hard, you know?
Yeah. Raising kids, I think at any age until they're like 30 is pretty tough.
I do not recommend. Oh, you think it gets easier at 30? Like we're easy to take care of for mom and dad?
Oh, because mom and dad are taking care of us?
I'm sure they worry a bunch about us. They should.
Yeah, they should. Well,
Because I am hanging by a thread.
worrying and having to take actual care of us are two different things.
Yeah,
We'd probably
you're right.
be better off if they were taking care of us.
I don't do a lot for him now, so it's not a big deal.
That's fair. It's basically like he's 30.
In my mind, you've always been 30, my boy. No, you know what it is that he is now getting to an age where he and his mother are brushing up against each other. Am I saying that correctly?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying. And he's a very well-behaved young youth. But, familiarity breeds contempt. You know what I mean?
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. You know what I mean, numbnuts? That was forced.
As if to prove your own point.
That was forced. That's
Yeah.
ugly. But I mean, not to complain about him. He's the best.
I think everybody fights with their parents at some time in their life. Like, that's just how it goes.
To different levels, of course. Even you and I fought with our parents differently.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You were bad.
I was.
I was good.
No.
What?
No. That is a misconstruing of the facts.
Misnomer?
Alternative facts.
When mom and dad were still together, when life was the way it was supposed to be, what were you bad or were you good? Obviously, I'm using these terms that are all encompassing. You were neither of those things, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, the duality of man, I guess.
He explained that to me when he was 7, and I'm like, you're evil.
Philosophizer.
Yeah, he's a philosophizer.
Yeah, I definitely had my bad tricks. My problem was that I was kind of in a lot of ways left to my own devices.
Yeah.
So which is not great for a teenager.
Even before they had gotten divorced? No, they got divorced when you were young.
It was after they. Oh, you're saying before they got divorced?
Yeah. I don't remember back on that time. Is that because I was a kid or the copious amounts of drugs? I wasn't doing drugs at that point.
I was going to say, just trauma. There was a lot of trauma going on at the time, even though we didn't realize it.
Not enough.
A lot of, definitely enough. We got our fair share of trauma. Everybody was divided and doing their own things, and I don't think we realized, or as a matter of fact, I know we didn't realize it at the time.
You're saying that before the parents got divorced?
Exactly. Yeah, it led up to the divorce. So I don't know if you remember, but dad would always be in his office. He was obsessed with work.
Oh, for sure.
Constantly doing his work. Mom would always be in the backyard, glass of wine in hand, on the phone with her friends all afternoon long.
Could somebody just invent Facebook already? Jeez.
Yeah, I'm sure that would have made
this
it better.
marriage is withering on the vine.
Yeah, I was wrapped up in video games all day long.
Really?
Glad that's changed.
Sure, we got that all taken care of. What was I doing?
I don't know. You were Teen X.
I was a rambunctious youth.
You were in your room a lot, and so was Michael.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So everybody was very divided.
I never considered that. I always thought of us as being a team, but maybe I was mistaken. We all sat down at dinner together. That's a thing.
Yeah, a team of independent entities.
Sure,
Yeah.
we were independent sales representatives. Michael and I, we were back in those days. We would spend a lot of time outside, just kind of bullshit and doing that thing that people harken back to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before I got like super absorbed into video games, I did the same thing.
We spent a lot of time outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was the very last generation, and I hold this up as a sense of pride. I was the very last generation of, you knew where everybody was, all of your friends, at whose house they were at, because everybody's bikes were out front on the front yard. Yeah.
So easy to just go walk by and grab a bike, and you're living large. And that's back when they had those fat boy pegs. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Were you a front of the
No, back. I wanted
You
to
were a
stand.
backpack man?
I wanted to stand and push my penis into somebody.
Again, some things just never change. I will tell you, Tyler, already being in here and talking to you just makes me feel better, man.
Good.
I love you, and I'm glad we're doing this.
I'm glad. I love you too. And there really is something to be said, just finishing the conversation we were just having. There's
him.
something freeing and something truly beautiful about being such close friends with all of these different people because we all lived like in the same neighborhood, basically.
When you're a kid, growing up in a neighborhood with a bunch of other kids is the greatest pleasure, for sure.
The best. And so you would see where everybody is based on their bikes. We didn't have cell phones at the time. And you would just walk into the house.
Hell
and
yeah.
everybody would be right there in the living room or in the kitchen. And you just walk in and just join them. And there was no awkward phasing into that or anything.
Dare you to do that now. Stand your ground, Law Tyler. just waiting for you.
Now I won't even knock on a door. I will text my friend, and if they don't text me back soon enough, I will just leave.
I'll get a new friend. Now, here's my question, and we've discussed many times the death of the doorbell industry because of what you just described.
Oh, it was brought back now because of Ring and all the video camera doorbells.
But that's not even a doorbell. That's somebody alerting that there's movement going on at your front door as the UPS guy tries to get the fuck out of there without ever seeing your face.
Yeah, it's more
just
like
throws the box from the mailbox.
I'll see if it was me, I would just sign the missed you paper and just slap it to your door and run away.
I like that.
Yeah. I would drive back to UPS with a truck full of packages.
The reverse Santa Claus, which I respect. My question to you is, was that just an easier time? Was that because of cell phones that all of that hadn't been invented? Or is there just something innate about being a kid? It's just easier to make friends. Or is it both of those?
I would say it's both of those things. We talked about it on last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, where now all these studies that are being done are showing that kids are feeling lonelier than they ever have before. So I think it's getting worse. The times like that, I wouldn't say it's eradicated, but it's not as ubiquitous as
We're being pulled apart.
Why? Yeah.
Why is it technology that's just it's happening on accident, or is this some sort of an overarching strategy?
I would say it's a side effect. I don't think the people who came up with social media expected this. I don't see how they could. But I mean, at the same time, I'm down for a good old conspiracy. Like, I love a good conspiracy just like the next person. So maybe it was planned and we're all falling apart at the seams.
I wondered during all of that COVID thing. Remember that?
That COVID thing.
You remember it?
I do.
I was
a lot of free time.
Man, it was so good. I was wondering who stands to gain from all of us being separated in this way. I found myself thinking that a lot.
COVID, I would imagine.
Sure.
Actually, that's not true.
Look,
it would probably want us to be
that.
bunched up.
Speaking of that, do you know that the
Therapist?
U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, you've heard of UCDP?
Not in such a way, but
Sure.
yes, I know what you're referencing.
It would make sense to call it that because it's stupid.
You lose some of the seriousness when you say it like that.
Speaking of which, they have a real website devoted to zombie preparedness.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's been around for years, and it's actually great advice because you can use it in real world situations.
They were doing it tongue in cheek.
Yeah, but it's great advice where they show you like get a I think they call them like grab bag or a go bag or something like that.
A go bag is where you're just ready to leave at any given moment.
Correct. You put your important documents in there, and if an emergency comes up, like we had like the last couple of days with all the flooding.
Oh, I know.
You just grab a bag and you just get the fuck out of Dodge.
Down here, I hope it floats. Down here in South Florida, we have been getting
flooded
torrential downpours, and it has made life tough.
Yeah.
Apparently, my car doesn't float, so that's a deal.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah.
This isn't going to be an issue moving forward.
No.
Also, something like you said, that website was from a long time ago, and I just found out about it now. Something else that I found out now that is actually from 2 years ago, but I figure we could roll it around. We could have a little bit of fun. Burger King.
Not great.
You're not a fan?
They've just, I feel like they've been slipping over the last few years or whatever. I feel like the quality has dropped and obviously the prices have increased, and I'm feeling like that with everybody. Did McDonald's change their buns? I feel like their buns have gotten so much worse.
Tyler,
the magic of the cheeseburger is gone.
Tyler, I cannot agree with you more. It's now that shiny bun
what is that?
without sesame seeds. See, I think that most people would think that is a fancier bun, and perhaps it is, but it is a less tasty bun.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
The consistency is wrong.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Sesame seeds, didn't know I needed them. I need them.
Yeah,
I like them.
Well, the cheeseburger didn't have the sesame seeds. The Big Mac did.
I feel like a fool.
No, it's okay.
I feel like a fool.
The Burger King cheeseburgers have the sesame seeds.
You brought me back.
And they still do. But McDonald's changed their bun, and I am not a fan.
You and I are both two cheeseburger guys, have been since we were little itty bitty witty little children.
Definitely.
Sexy little kids.
Yeah, and not that we're attracted to that guy with a cheeseburger for a face. Although kind of.
Mayor McCheese?
Mayor McCheese,
I
thank you.
may or may not be into Mayor McCheese. I
all right.
would. Honestly, this is what I got for you today, Doug. So apparently,
Thank you for the warning.
you already knew. This is better than I thought I was going to start. Burger King Pride Month. Have you heard of Pride Month?
Of course.
When a man loves another man, forget it.
It's a sin. It's a sin and against God.
Exactly right. Burger King wants to celebrate this sin by selling Whoppers with 2 bottom buns. What do you think about that? That's true. That's a fact.
No, I believe you.
2 years ago,
I believe you.
received a bit of blowback on that.
Yeah. Wait, it happened 2 years ago?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I
They're not
just
doing
learned
it
about
anymore.
it recently. I looked it up. It was 2 years ago. People didn't seem to love it.
Oh, why? What's wrong with 2 bottoms? I'm a top myself, so that's just extra options.
You could shoot top. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the one that's doing it.
That gives it to the bottom. Yeah.
But what if you're sitting on it? Wouldn't that make you a top?
No, because then the top is upside down. It's just a reverse
An
top.
upside down top is a bottom.
No,
I don't
that's not
understand.
true. No.
See, when I think, anyway, let's
No.
not, we don't have to get into all of this, but I will say, I don't think that just because you're on the bottom means that you have to be the one. I'm a power bottom.
No, you're not. I like,
You don't get to choose.
I like,
Cleaning it and it went off.
I really appreciate all these tiny little mind games that you play.
I'm not gay, Tyler.
So you can learn about the gay community.
I'm not gay.
Without acknowledging you actually being gay.
Okay. Did these
can
pants make my nipples look good?
Can you imagine what it would do to mom if 2/3 of her children turned out gay and dead too, for that
Well,
matter?
you would have to go back to straight. We can't do
Me,
that.
I'm not sacrificing. I finally started to become comfortable with who I am.
It's my thing now. I'm taking it. Yeah.
You can't take
Yeah.
gaydom.
I'm the gay now.
Well, I guess you could.
Yeah, you can.
In a certain way.
So 2 bottom buns. What do you think about? And they have not done it anymore. They have.
Yeah.
It's interesting when corporations delve into these waters where they like I just heard recently. I believe that McDonald's in London during National Mental Health Month. I'm doing this right off the dome here, Tyler. That for a month, instead of the Happy Meal, it was just called the meal because it's okay to not be happy all the time. What do you think about that?
I like the message. I'm not a huge fan of who's doing it.
McDonald's?
Yeah.
Is it because of the bun?
No, that was Burger King. Again, sin. I'm just not a fan of corporations pretending like they're people. Jon Stewart, who actually talked about the 2 bottom bun thing, also had
Always stealing my material.
had an entire segment about that. Skittles did one for Pride Month where they turned all the Skittles gray. You know,
Rhymes with gay.
yep. It does rhyme with gay. How
about that?
Very good.
Sure.
I'm just not a fan of corporations pretending like they're people for like a month and being like, hey, look at how we support you all. We're also raising our prices to nickel and dime you and greed our way to as much profit as humanly possible. By the way, go fuck yourselves.
I would love to see that put out in a memo under like corporate heading.
At least be honest.
So here's my question, because I do understand the point that you're making. Don't pretend like you care about us, because you obviously don't.
You don't.
But let's say one child in London is like, hello, mommy. Why do they call this the meal and it's not the happy meal and it's okay to not be happy? And it triggers some form of understanding in his little Cockney accent. Just annoy. Just shut the fuck up, kid. In his mom. I'm sorry.
That took a turn.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
That hypothetical child, I weep for him.
Just shut the fuck up for a minute.
Well, we've just
sweep the chimney.
We've lost our entire Cockney fan base.
No, but
Sorry.
Sorry about that. No, but the idea that let's say in the hypothetical that one person it triggers a thought in their mind that turns into something helpful for them down the road, even if it comes from a soulless corporation. Is that such a bad thing?
No, and I'm not against the message itself, but put your money where your mouth is. If you are actually gonna give a shit about these kind of things, then why not put actual money towards, instead of funding advertisements for your business to bring in more profit, why not put that money towards organizations that actually help people with their self-image and with their mental health?
Who's to say that they don't?
They don't. They don't.
We know that as a fact.
They have this. That is all public knowledge. These people aren't spending their money on.
Okay.
There are corporations that have, like the Ronald McDonald Fund or whatever it is, where they have these side businesses, these organizations that you can donate to.
What are you doing with your fingers there?
Because it's. I don't want to say it's complete bullshit. Maybe some people have been helped out by these different things, but it's also meant for these corporations to be able to fill out their bottom line, where it's like, hey, look at how much we've gathered in donations. It's a fucking tax write-off.
Yeah, I know. And I understand, but like I said, there is somebody who could be helped somewhere along the way, but your point stands to reason. I do understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, I don't know. Papa needs a drink. I don't know.
We haven't done a drunken episode since session 0. I feel like
it was terrible.
It was terrible.
We did the conspiracy episode that we don't talk about.
But we weren't drunk on that one.
Oh, yes, we were.
Oh, then maybe that's why it was so terrible.
It was very bad.
Was that session 25?
I believe so.
Yeah, you really hated that episode.
I couldn't listen back to it. I took it very personally at that time, and it hurt me. All right, I have one more thing, and I wrote it when I was in more of a playful mood, so now I'm not feeling it as much.
All right.
When you're in a grocery store line, checking out. Grocery store, heard of it?
Yes.
Lines?
Yes.
Yeah, queue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're checking out. Somebody is scanning the lines. Do you just go to whatever line and just stand there, or do you check them all out first?
I check them all out first.
You got to check them all out.
I do the sweep. I walk between all of them. I'm kind of tall, so I also step on my tiptoes a little bit
That
and
helps.
look over the gum and the candy.
Of course.
And then I pick whatever the best line I think is, because you never really know. It's a crapshoot, because even if there's only one person in front of you and 5 people in the other lane, you could get that one jackass in front of you that just wants to pay with change. Nobody's taking pennies anymore, Timothy.
Or you're just being generally like, I had a guy
Unlikable.
not that long ago who was just like arguing, and no, it said this back there. Like, it just went on for such a long time.
Yeah.
Brother. But nonetheless, if somebody gets behind you in a line, that means that they're expecting something from you. Like, okay, I'm getting behind you. I'm going to unload all of my groceries here. I'm expecting for you not to pay with change. I'm expecting for you not to fuck around
Yeah.
here. This is real.
Do you put that little bar that cordons off groceries from one customer to the other? Do you put it for the person behind you, or do you just let them fend for themselves?
I try to use that bar as little as possible because I think it's an insult to the person running the cash register that they don't, like, what, you think I can't figure out what's yours and what's his?
Things can get muddled.
If it's necessary, I will use it. But I think that, I don't know, there's something that I'm embarrassed about using that thing. And I keep trying to buy one, and the lady keeps putting it back.
Yeah. Whose joke is that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I know, it's a bad one.
So do you put it for the person behind you, or no?
Absolutely not.
What?
No.
Why absolutely not?
Like I said, I find that yellow bar to be elementary and kind of insulting to everyone involved. If you just leave a regular amount of space on the conveyor belt, everybody's going to know. You don't need that thing.
You got a weird mindset, man.
I really do.
Well, and depending
I have some serious mental deficiencies that I'm coming to terms with.
Yes, you do, and I'm proud of you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
You're
It
coming to
sucks.
terms with it, not the actual mental deficiencies.
I would do anything to stop.
But and not only that, but based on the amount of groceries that you and the person behind you have, there is a limited amount of space on the conveyor belt. That little bar helps to you can push your groceries together as closely as possible.
If the person wants to use it, then they're more than welcome to. No judgment on my side, verbally, only psychologically. Have you ever had it? And we got to go. We're going way too late here.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it where you're putting your stuff on the conveyor belt? The person behind you, before you're done, starts putting their stuff on the conveyor belt?
I don't like that.
Limiting your room. What if I want to stretch out from here until forever?
Well, we talked about this, and we already set the rule.
I'll fucking fight you.
Oh, but we already set the rule. If they start doing that, you are allowed to put your hand on the conveyor belt and just sweep everything off.
Oh, man. What a great show this is. I completely forgot about that.
Remember the example we gave, like in the movies, like when people are about to fuck on a desk and they just sweep the computer off.
Tyler, this is why we're such a good team. I say dumb shit and you remember it. It's perfect.